interested in video games?
Yes, I used to play video games every day, likely every day. So yes, I'm very interested in playing games.
Yeah, so used to means in the past, but not now.
Right, yes, right now I'm playing game right now. So
So you can say I used to. When you say I used to, it means something
oh
that was my habit in the past, but not anymore. So if you want to
yeah,
talk present, something that is your habit in present, you have different phrases. The first structure that is used to, but be used to and I. So I'm used to playing. It means I play video games every day. So I'm used to playing video games. Be used to an
yes,
ing form of verb. And in addition, you can say I am in the habit of playing video games. So let me share
yeah,
my screen. That is really good. You know that used to is really good structure. So that's perfect, and we normally use it. The first one, so for present habits, you can say be used to and gerund. That is ing form of verb. And, oh, my caps lock is, it's okay. And you can also say, I'm in the habit of playing video games. So,
yeah.
your habit. So you are used to playing video games. Okay, actually, first of all, let's talk about maybe the most popular video games. So do you have any idea about it? Do you know the most or the best-selling video games?
Right now is the most popular game right now is I believe the League of Legends is one of the most popular games. And the
Yeah.
second one, I believe it was uh Dota 2, which is also the very popular game. And the
Yeah.
third one is a Clash of Clans. I think so.
Oh, you, I can see that you have, yeah, enough information about video games. So let's do something. Actually, it's not bad to watch a video. So because I want to know the most popular video games since 1973 so far. So let's see. Just let me
You
share
wouldn't
my
believe it.
screen and watch this video together.
If I told you that the world was forever transformed by the drop of a ball. To find out how, we'll have to go to 1973, where an unknown bar called Andy Capp's Tavern was causing a riot. Not because of its rowdy customers, but something strange to do with a never-seen-before invention involving 2 paddles and a square ball. No one knew it at the time, but the invention of Pong would somehow kickstart the entire video game industry, with an impact so profound that it not only popularized arcade games, but sparked a period of rapid competition where all game companies were willing to risk absolutely anything to try and steal Pong's crown. And no one did a better job at competing than Space Invaders, who had a genius plan in place to shatter the definition of what a video game could be. By inventing graphic visuals and sound in a world of gaming known for boring music and black and white colors, its iconic pixelated aliens descended upon Earth and broke all records, earning over $1 billion in revenue in its first year alone, making it one of the most profitable arcade games of all time, until its market share was eventually eaten away by an absolute monster in the gaming world. It would have been easy to underestimate Pac-Man, a simple game that drew its inspiration from a missing pizza slice, but it quickly surpassed all expectations, becoming an instant hit that devoured the hearts of millions whilst simultaneously achieving several milestones in gaming history. It broadened the appeal of video games by attracting a more diverse audience audience of all ages. It became one of the first games to spawn numerous sequels and spin-offs, and even inspired a chart-topping hit, Pac-Man Fever. But the fever didn't last forever, as knocking Pac-Man off the top spot is our favorite Italian Mario, who is no stranger to the world of video games, having previously starred in the arcade hit Donkey Kong. So after mild success in a previous game, what was so different this time? Well, Super Mario Bros. Wasn't just another game. For the first time, gamers got to discover iconic characters and an immersive, imaginative world, keeping players captivated and eager to explore further. This not only revitalized the video game industry, but also established Super Mario Bros. As a timeless classic, whose spot at the top could only be taken by the most addictive game of all time. Alexei Pajitnov designed a digital game dedicated to his love of puzzles. However, he had no clue just how addictive it would become and the lengths people would go to get their hands on it. And while Tetris did quickly become a hit in Russia, its path to international success was fraught with many obstacles. Russia didn't want the US to get a hold of the world's #1 game, and so anyone who tried to get the game to the West was met with complex negotiations and legal battles over strict Soviet intellectual property regulations. Ultimately, the game eventually found its way to the West, but still had one last stretch to go before cementing its place in gaming history. Tetris's true rise to prominence came when it managed to be included as the pack-in game for Nintendo's Game Boy. The handheld console's portability, combined with Tetris's easy-to-learn, hard-to-master gameplay, proved a match made in heaven. At the time, it seemed no game would be able to take the crown from this Russian giant. But it wouldn't stop Wii Sports from trying. Wii Sports didn't just break sales records, it obliterated them, selling more than 82 million copies worldwide, which is more than the entire population of Germany. But if you think that's a lot of sales, going on to sell 3 times that is Minecraft. The game captivated players with its generated world composed of blocks and limitless creative possibilities. But its true success came down to its game's dedicated player community, which played a vital role in its rapid ascent to popularity, and would later allow the game to finish in second place behind the one and only Fortnite. The journey began for Fortnite in 2011, when Epic Games announced the development of a new game that combined elements of building, exploration, and survival. But the game's development process was lengthy, and meant the creators needed to come up with a more exciting version called Fortnite Save the World. Then, finally, in September 2017, they had a eureka moment. They launched Fortnite Battle Royale as a free-to-play standalone game that changed the game's fortunes forever. Fortnite's free-to-play model, availability on multiple platforms, and the inclusion of cross-platform play further contributed to its rapid growth. Today, the game is by far the most popular of all time, accumulating over 350 million registered players. So there you have it. Fortnite takes home the crown in first place.
Oh, so what do you think? Oh, just wait. Let me. Okay.
The most popular of all time.
Tell me about it. So, first of all, which ones have you played before? And tell me if you agree with the list, because I have no idea about it. Just I know Super Mario, but about the rest of them, because it's not my thing. I'm not the fan of video games. So so do you know them? So and do you have the same idea with the list?
Yes, I have played all the gaming here except Wii Sport. I haven't tried it yet, but I have played all the gaming here. And I think Fortnite is not very popular in my country, but I see a lot of streamer in your country and a lot around the world play that game too. Minecraft is obviously this is very popular in the whole world because the children they like to create their world in the Minecraft. So I think it's quite good. Roblox is something that really popular in my country. I can say that every single of kids, of the children, of every every children who like to play this game. Yes, League of Legends is something that there's a lot of people like playing that. I can see it played everywhere. GTA 5 is also World of Warcraft. It used to be one of the most successful games in the history because the gameplay of it and how we play it is very creative. But soon it was defeated by League of Legends because it's famous. Yes, and the next one was a pretty famous is PUBG Mobile, PUBG Battlegrounds.
Yeah.
Uh, Especially is in the period of the COVID-19 pandemic. A lot of
Yeah.
people play this game. Yes, I think so.
Wow. So you have a lot. Wow, video games. That's perfect. I don't know anything. I have no idea what they are. But of course, but actually I want to know that why. So we know that nowadays, especially video games are really popular around the world, and people spend a lot, not only children. So people spend plenty of time playing video games. So I want
Yes.
to know that why. So why do you think now this is the first, I think the first trend. So people are not interested to, playing traditional games anymore, and they would prefer to play modern and video games. Why do you think?
Because with the new generation, I can say it, new generation, especially with with the generation that they can interact with the technology in the first time that we was born. So when they play games, they will prefer the game with the high qualities in graphics. You know that, and the gameplay is good, and the stories of the game is perfect too. So that they can even pay a lot of money to buy that game, or they can purchase some item in the game by money, by reality's money, and
Yeah.
is that why they prefer some modern video games?
Yeah, of course. And well, so tell me about maybe, yeah, of course, there are some benefits, advantages, and disadvantages at the same time. Playing video games can be dangerous. So do you agree with this, first of all, and why do you think?
Yes, absolutely. It's very dangerous. It's may causing some something was bad, some fake imagination, some illusion in your head if
Yeah.
you're playing too much. Especially is when I played League of Legends too much when I was just a kid. Especially is when I was in a secondary school and my head was like overwhelmed and it's go round by that game is always have that picture imagine about that game too, and even in the night when I go to sleep my finger just do exactly by when I play game, just in in no thinking. I don't know how to say that. It unconscious conscious.
Ah, and consistent. Yeah, got it.
Yes.
Yeah, of course. Well,
So
so
so it's
I'm sorry.
quite dangerous with a person with children because
Yeah.
yes.
Of course, of course. And what do you think about, addiction? So, that a lot of people are addicted to video games nowadays. So, as I told you, they can't take their eyes, off the monitor and screen because, they play and spend a lot of time during the day. So, what do you think? So, do you think this is something like, I don't know, one to think that actually maybe something like a policy or something that we want to actually make something like this environment for people to be addicted to our video games so that actually we can make more profit. So what do you think?
I think is the purpose of the people who make these games was not let the player become addicted because the game they make was too attractive. So the player keep focusing on playing games, and that may cause some negative effect because you know that when we play too much game and the government need to launch some law, especially for example in China, like I said before, they have launched a law that they will limitation. There is a limitation in for teenager to playing at least for maximum is 3 hours a day. So if
Yeah.
you play over 3 hours a day, they will lock it down your account and you cannot play anymore. So that may cause some bad effect to the company who make that game. Yeah, I think so.
I do agree with you, but I all the time find the way. So, if someone wants, of course, they find a way to, I don't know, to solve the issue. So, okay, yeah, it's banned to play more than 3 hours. But if, in real life, for real, it's banned. So people can't really, they're not able to play more. I don't think so. Of course, I have no idea about it because it's not actually the category that I'm interested in. Or for example, maybe I have lots information about it, but I don't think so. Well, tell me, in your country, but I want to know that. So you said that some video games are really popular, okay?
Yeah.
And yeah, tell me, why do people enjoy playing video games or computer games than hanging out with friends? So this is actually my question. So you know that people needs to socialize, needs to be together, needs to spend time, but actually it makes people really isolated. So for example, okay, I would prefer to stay in my room, just play video games, and I don't need to even talk to my family. So why do you think?
I think right now in my country, teenagers, especially so with the boys, they are usually interact with their friends when they are playing game together, especially with some cooperate game like a League of Legends or some teammate game, and that may cause very funny situation, and they quite like that. But the problem here is they too focused on playing games, and they will lack the time that they will have a time in the realities with each other. So in the past, in my neighborhood, I I usually could see some of children who play with each other in the afternoon. But when the game exists and become popular in my country, in my neighborhood too, there is no person in the street anymore and no party play in the playground anymore. And it's quite sad realities. So yeah, some of them spend, I think they spend a whole day, especially in the summer vacation right now. They spend a whole day in a room, close the door, a lack of the sunshine, and just focus on playing games. And I don't know why they keep focused like that.
Yeah, of course, of course. Now, actually, I want to write some types. Of course, I know just something. We have some action games. Just I want you to give me an example. So, action games and I think adventure
Yes.
and puzzle. I know that because actually we used to have. And oh, now, oh, role playing.
Yeah.
And I know that some video games, computer games, are something like a copy of real world, like actually it's,
Yes.
yeah, simulated environment. So, and I think, I don't know, so if they're really popular, so simulation, I'm not sure about it. So tell me, first of all, which one is more, which type is more and the most famous and the most popular in your country? So action, adventure, puzzle, role playing, or and if you want to add another category, another type, you can add.
I think the action game will be the first one because in Vietnam they like something that fighting, they like some shooting, some military, something like that, and they like to play some game like that. The second one is some online games where you
Yeah.
can play with friends, can chat with friends, you can do a lot of things. And role playing is quite popular in my city, especially with the game that they can make the whole universe in a game and it's very very big.
Yeah.
So you can travel all the planet, you can travel all the system in the universe too. And I see a lot of people playing that game because you can do ever what you want. You can build your whole fleet, something like that.
Yeah, of course, of course. Yeah, people believe, especially people who play computer games, they believe that video games, computer games are great stress busters, so they reduce stress. Do you agree with it? I don't think so. Really, they are stress buster.
Yes, I don't know. If we are working too much, especially with some person who working too much, so I think games, computer games and video game is some way that for them to release their stress, to reduce the stress. But with some people who only focus on playing game, not for relaxing, not for uh reduce the stress, they just playing game because they want that and they addict to that. So I think it's bring for them some stress. It's a
Yeah, of
different purpose.
Yeah, of course, but I don't know. I think especially when I see people who play, especially in higher levels. So, for example, I see that, people are really stressed. So, that some of them are, I don't know, are competitive. So, for example, you can play all around the world with all the people. So you can contact all the people and you can play together, and of course that will be winner. So but I think it's really stressful, and I don't know, maybe it can be really dangerous because I see the way that they behave, and the way that they're how they're stressed and nervous but when playing the game. So and actually here there is a conflict between stress posture. Yeah, of course. For example, puzzle. I think I don't know, it's good. Or for example, role playing can be good, but especially in action games. So I think they're really stressful. Do you agree?
Um, is it in your opinion? I think you're right in some way because with some people who focus on playing games too much and they concerned about their status in the game too much, they will get stressed, very stressed. Especially with some games that ask a player about the mind, about the intelligence, about the mental health. Yeah, it's quite stress. But with some people just play game for relax. I think it's quite good for them to relax.
Yeah, of course. And I think they're really immersive. Actually, this, playing video games can completely surround and involve you. So, you are completely engaged and I don't know, engrossed in doing it. So I can say that they are really immersive. Of course, it's really good. For example, for learning English, we say that, okay, it's really good to immerse environment, like for example, to
Yes.
be involved. But about video games that I think they're really immersive. So because you actually like you're completely engaged and engrossed and you can't do something else, just let's finish this. I don't know, I think it's a bit scary. Maybe I'm a bit old school. Okay, firearm. So tell me, is it illegal to have a firearm in Vietnam?
It's absolutely not in Vietnam. We are prohibited to use the guns or own your our own gun. So yes, we cannot have something that can firearms in our house.
Yeah, that is like small portable gun, so it's not allowed. It's prohibited. Yeah. And the next one, contribute to something. So that it's to help, sometimes to give money, something like to cause something happen, and to help. Like for example, especially when, for example, we say industry, service, and for example, agriculture or agricultural sector contribute countries, for example, economies. It's like they help. So one of the factors that contributes to his weak eyesight, of course, is that, yeah, he spent too much time playing video games. Yeah, I think so. A physical condition can actually be under threat by playing video games if it's too much. Well, so you said that you play. So you are used to playing video games, and I want to know that. So how much time to spend on playing every day?
Uh, when I was still in my school, I usually spend about just 1 or 2 hours a day for playing games. Uh, Rarely sometimes I spend a lot of time, like 2 hours. But when I stay at home, like right now, and I have my summer vacation, I spend about 3 hours a day, I guess, and to playing games. After that, I will not touch a game anymore.
So I think acceptable. So 3 hours, acceptable. Of course, it depends on the person and the age. So I think, well, and now let's keep going. So Congress, the elected group or politicians in the US who are responsible for making the laws. And President Obama once said that Congress should fund research into the fact that violent video games have an, of course they do, of course, especially we'll learn something, as you said, it's something like you think that you are living in a real world that is not real, especially with this, now graphics, high quality, and the graphic, I can say our graphics are the best nowadays. So you play video games and you see you just like you are in real world. So I think yes. So maybe we need to monitor the facts that this
Yes.
maybe a violent, especially action and violent video games have on teenagers, young people. So sometimes, yeah, they cause some accidents, some dangers in real life. So do you agree with this? And have you ever, I don't know, heard or experienced something like violent that was influenced and affected by playing video games?
Yes. Uh, like I say, for when some person playing game too much, they will get illusions, and they will think that everything around them is just a game. And then you know that when you play game, will have a second life or one more life to try again, right? And in Vietnam, a few years ago, there is a murder by a person, just a kid. It may be about 13 or 14 years old, and they play game too much. So after that, his mom did something that make him got angry. So he
Oh,
he killed her. And after that, he think that he said to the police that he thought that his mother have a second life, so he can live again and continue to live, like in the game. So that is a consequences, bad
yeah,
consequences.
of course, yeah, of course. Well, so let me ask you, uh, if you, for example, saw someone watch others play video games, what would you do? You wanted to, for example, take with you, I don't know, take part and with you start playing, or no, you just, I don't know. I want to know about, your maybe feeling that moment when you watched people who were playing video games at that moment. What would you think?
Uh, I think it
No, it's not
just
you. It's actually another person.
yes. I still usually watching some streamer in the YouTube playing game, and I quite relaxed because they will give some tips, some way to play faster and get more rich in the game. So for just my experience, so I usually watch them.
Yeah, of course. Well, it's like, so you wouldn't say let's play. No, no, let's play. Okay, this one can be a good one. So, uh, let me ask another question. Uh, Tell me about some animals. So first, I want to know about a game related to animals. So if we have, because as I tell you,
Yes, there's a lot of game that related to animals. You can play some farm videos game like farm stimulations. It's where you can interact with your animal like cow, like pig, like
ah,
horse, something like that. And you can you can act like a farmer too. You just
Yeah,
exact like a farmer. Is it quite good?
yeah, that's yeah, of course. And tell me, which animals are really good at video games because your experience?
I think the the most famous animal in the game is a goat.
Ah, goat.
Because there is a game called the Goat Simulations that you will pretend to be a goat and you walk around the city and you can do anything that you want from
Yeah,
killing people, jump in a high build from a high building, and do something silly stupid in that game when you are a goat.
of course. And I know that, you have your own language when playing video games. There's some words that people use, and they have
Yes,
different meaning when actually you talk in real life. So this, I don't know, like slangs, words.
it's not about I don't know. Maybe it's not a slang because slang is in a community. But this game, when we talk about,
Do you
it's
have?
like a
I want to know if there are, for example, or no.
yes, I have some example. For example, if somebody say that NT, it mean a nice try and you are done best.
Oh,
If somebody say that NC, it's nice.
it's
And
not.
somebody, yeah, in some games with you need to farming, RSS is a word for resources. Yes, something just like
Yeah.
that.
That's interesting. So you need to know, I think. So I think you need to know because, these words related to, for example, video games. So I think if sometimes if you don't know, you get confused when playing, right?
Yeah, so the first time when I hear some of my friends say that word, I get confused and I didn't know what they were saying. But when I play enough and spend sometimes enough time, I gonna understand what they say.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Really interesting. Well, okay, let's keep going. Uh, terrorize. Wow, it's not related to video games, really. Yeah, you know that. To make someone feel very frightened, and you know that it's actually uh, terrorism. Actually is caused by some political or maybe religious reasons.
Yeah.
So, but here, my aunt is so worried about my cousin who is now studying in the US, as she heard on the news that Minsk is having. No, it's fake. Okay, to make someone feel very frightened by threatening to kill or hurt. Of course, it's not just, to make people feel it's real. People really killed, so actually terrorism, and the word that is terrorize. So
Yeah.
yes. So tell me if you have such news in your country, like.
My country, there is no terrorism in my country because we completely safe and nobody wants to make kill any bad person in my country. So it's quite very safety when some president, some important person come to Vietnam because it's completely safe. We don't observe any territories for a long time. Yes, I think so. I haven't observed them.
Yeah, so that's perfect. Having said
Yes, because
this.
in my country they are not allowed to use gun, so it's quite safe.
Yeah, of course. For example, in my country, but yeah, there are some rules that people are allowed, and there are some rights to use gun, but of course it's restricted. It's not everyone, has a gun and walk on the street. No, it's not. So it's like a bit
Yes.
different. People think that, we have some guns and we walk on the street. No, it's not. Yeah.
Yes. But you think, you know what? I really want to own my some guns, some just small guns some days because it's quite
Ah,
cool.
yeah. So just because it's cool. Yeah, it's cool.
No, because I have watched a lot of guns in the internet, in the movies, and I want to
Effect
buy.
of, yeah, the effect of computer games, I think. So this one, yeah, let's have one. Yeah, really. And so, for example, this can be really important fact. Like, for example, now just you say, okay, it's fun to have at home, but sometimes, especially for younger,
Yes,
children, so because they don't have any control and their emotion feelings, and yes, just they see something, and in some countries that they just fine. For example, okay, my dad has one, so let's borrow just for a few hours, and then boom, something happens.
yeah,
Well, yeah. Okay, so the next one, correlation, that is connection. Okay. A lot of parents believe that there is a correlation between video games and violent behavior. Of course, I do agree. What do you think?
yes, obviously. Um, some because especially with teenagers, they prefer some violent games, some games that shooting, fighting, and some action scenes. So the company, the game company, they will prefer to make some games like that, and sometimes if you play too much, you will affect like about that game, and you get illusions.
Yeah, of course. Of course. I think so. Well, and this one, red herring. So, what is this idiom? So actually, if you say that something is a red herring, you mean that is not important and it takes your attention away from the main subject, or for example, problems you're considering. So, for example, here, the whole meeting is a red herring. It actually has nothing to do with the financial problems. So, as you can see, a fact, idea, or subject that takes people's attention away from the central point. Okay, can you do an example of red herring?
Uh, some yes, I have a group of my friends who always talk about something was silly and something was like they want to know everything around you. They want to hear, you want to know. So
Yeah,
sometimes they invite me to listen to figure it out what is that. But I
yeah.
just the whole thing was a red herring, and I don't pay much attention to that.
Just let me say
Yeah.
something, because actually I wanted to do an example, because I want to say something about it that's really important. For example, I make two sentences. For example, son, dad, it's really hard to make a living on my salary. I'm talking, for
Yes.
example, to my dad. My dad says, consider yourself lucky. What is that? This is red herring. It's not related to what I said. So this is some codes. For example, it's not only something. I want to say that some codes that through someone off the scent of something that is the truth. So I want to draw your attention from something that is truth. So I say something. So this
Yeah.
can be red herring. So I
Yeah.
normally we hear a lot, especially when we talk to something, for example, elderly. We discuss our problems, mom, something like happened, and don't think about it. So they don't say even don't think about it. So, okay, just open the door. Someone is knocking. Mom, I'm talking about something really important. So this
Yeah.
is actually an example of red herring. Well,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. So let's have a look at the words and phrases now. Okay, so we'll learn. No questions?
Yes, I have a question on red herring, but I understand it yet, so no question.
Okay, so it's okay. Well, it's like sometimes, as I told you, just that is really important. The point is here when using especially idioms. Of course, we talked
Yeah.
about slangs that you know that slangs are related to some conditions, some situation, not everywhere, not everyone. And we have the same thing about idioms. So how to use them. So normally, for example, okay, some people, okay, this idiom means this. No. For example, this idiom can be used in this situation or not. This one is important. Of course, if you search, if you
Yes.
Google, you can get the meaning of idiom, but where to use is really important. And you know, that is a difference between native and foreign people, because you know, natives know, foreign don't know. And you know, the problem is here when, for example, someone tries to teach you something, they don't state and express when you use this idiom. And that is
Yes.
really important. For example, normally people say, especially in IELTS speaking, the first idiom, when you are not interested in something, that's not my cup of tea. It's perfect, usable, common
Yes.
idiom, but when and how, that's my cup of tea. Sometimes students and candidates use it in positive, affirmative form. For example, music is my cup of tea. No, we normally use it for negative and to compare. For example, rock and, for example, pop music. You know, rock is not my cup of tea. So it's like,
Yes.
yeah. And just red herring, just when something actually it's not important and takes your attention from main subject. It can be a sentence, it can be, for example, something, so anything. Well, let's keep going. Oh, we have a video. Let's see. I hope. Normally we don't. We think that we have. Okay. 25. Oh, we do. Okay, so let's watch. One moment. Oh, what is this? Then you will talk about this. I want to know. Just let me share. Okay.
Video games with a goal to kill, often with a firearm, like Call of Duty World War II,
Call of Duty.
Destiny 2, and Battlefield, are among America's most popular entertainment. And politicians have been quick to say that the violence on screen contributes to violence in real life, such as mass school shootings.
Congress should fund research into the effects that violent video games have on young minds.
Violent video games have encouraged the killing of innocent people for sport.
I'm hearing more and more people say the level of violence on video games is really shaping young people's thoughts.
There's just one problem with that. The research doesn't back it up. Back in the 1990s, people were worried about games like Duke Nukem, Mortal Kombat, and Resident Evil. Over the years, these games have become more lifelike, with better graphics, more detail, and more violence. And some of the gunmen who have terrorized schools have been known to play these kind of games. The Columbine shooters played the then controversial game Doom, even building their own customized levels. The Virginia Tech gunmen played similar video games. And the neighbor of Nicholas Cruz, the accused Parkland shooting suspect, told the Miami Herald that Cruz may have played violent video games for up to 15 hours a day. While some studies may have found correlations between playing violent video games and violent behavior, they have not been proven to cause actual crime. Some studies even suggest the opposite. We find no evidence of an increase in crime associated with video games and perhaps a decrease. Unexpectedly, many of the results were suggested of a decrease in violent crime in response to violent video games. Some psychiatrists warn of the dangers of focusing solely on video games.
To look at violent video games, in my opinion, is a red herring. It's not going to lead to anything helpful in regards to gun violence.
The argument has even been rejected by the Supreme Court. In 2011, it ruled that California could not ban the sale of violent video games to children on the grounds that they cause real-world violence. But the narrative hasn't appealed. It's a simple explanation in a debate that has become increasingly caustic.
Well, so let's answer, yeah, of course. Okay, let me share my screen again to answer a few questions. So, tell me, do you think that video games nowadays are getting more and more violent?
Yes, I think so. Especially they are more beautiful, more realities, and yes, it's like a real life,
Yeah,
playing in a real life. I think so.
well, and so let me ask you another question, actually, not from this word. Tell me about virtual reality glasses and headset. You know that we have some, especially nowadays,
Yes,
it's a really trend. So what do you think? So first of all, tell me about them if you have any idea about them. So it's like, you know, why people tend to tend to, for example, watch something that is not real. For example, they go to a restaurant and you say, wow, so why? We are at a restaurant, so why do you need to wear your headset to avoid getting, for example, sounds from, for example, environment outside, or why? So what do you think about it?
I think because they want to live in a different realities. Some person like that they meet some trouble in the real realities, and they want to make something that different in the fake realities, in the place, in the realities that they can imaginate. They can do whatever they want. They can make whatever they want. So they prefer to live in the realities like that. Yes, I think so. And like I said before, the Vittorio glasses is something was a very like a trendy in nowadays because all the brand like a Samsung, like Apple, like a Sony, they tend to make Vittorio glasses like that.
Yeah,
So it will make everybody will become like a robot. I think because they're always wearing the glasses and they do whatever they like in their realities.
how about
Especially
you?
in my neighborhood. In my neighborhood, there's a
Yeah,
town that a neighbor, my neighbor, they own for them glasses, Vittorio glasses, and at midnight they're screaming in the midnight, and everybody think that they meet some trouble, and they call the cop, they call the police to rescue him. But when they break the door and go inside, he are playing them some games, some horror games, and he's screaming in the midnight. So it's
yeah.
quite funny.
You know, I think, you know, sometimes really they need to apply some rules to, I don't know, to ban, to prevent people from playing these type of video games. I don't know, it's something like really dangerous. So living in a life that is not a real life, and you know, something like being greedy, like, you know, because, you know, they want more and more, like, you know, it's like a greed. Okay, let's
Yes,
have a new one, so let's try it. So I think it's really, so of course it's a good technology, perfect, we can say, yeah, maybe it's really, maybe life changing. Yeah, of course we can use technology and life changing, but how to use them? For example, you go out with your partner and you're wearing your
yes,
headset, so why are you crazy? If you want to live in a virtual life, so why you are with this guy? So okay, so for
yes,
example, you want to have her, or for example him, in virtual life. I think it's a bit scary. Well, and so about video games, so as we discussed, so you know that they are maybe addictive, so they, and people after, it depends, so I don't want to say all the people, no, so maybe most of players uh, become addicted after maybe a while, like for example 1 year or something like this. What do you think? So what makes this video game so attractive, absorbing?
uh, uh, the first one is I think this game bring people some satisfy emotion because they can play anything, they can get out of the world and playing games and let them feel relaxed. That's the first one. About the addictive, I think some games they are focusing too much on making people feel like they are a winner. Like when you win, you want to play continue. When you earn something, you want more. So that is a way for the company game company attract a player. So I think so, especially with the game like a League of Legends. The gameplay of it, you can defeat another people, you can up ranking, and you can play with your friends. That these things will make people satisfied about what they want. So yes, a lot of people focusing on playing games.
Yeah, of course. And actually, have you watched Westward series? It was actually TV series.
No, I haven't heard about that.
You haven't heard. So Westward, actually, I remember that the uh, first episode that I watched. It was like people could live a normal life. So what was that really? For example, I want to kill someone, but I can't
Yeah.
because this is real life. Okay, so I can travel, I can leave, but really, it was like with a game, but people leave, really leave that word. Actually, I couldn't go
Yes.
because it was really scary, and I imagined that if something like this happens, what
Yes.
will actually, what will be the influence and the effect of it in the world? So that was really scary. So, but it's not bad. So Westward, maybe you can watch some episodes. It's a bit different.
Yes, I will
Well,
watch it.
yeah. And so tell me why, of course we know why do most parents think about the video games. So I'm not going to ask you this question, of course. Well, do you think uh, children can learn something from video games?
Yes, it's obviously that you can learn a lot from the play video game, especially is when they have you think about the scheme, the strategy, about the plan when you're playing games, and and a lot of children they become very smart or they will show they're smart when they're playing games, and that a lot of people cannot fight from them.
Yeah,
But but I think this just a small of the people in the whole big society when they can learn from the play video games. Not everybody, not
yeah,
every children can do that. Just a little of them can learn from that.
yeah,
Yes, I
of
think
course.
so.
Yeah, of course. According to research, yes, playing video games can make, especially the youngsters and children, smarter. So, of course, in a limited, I'm talking about in a restricted and limited time. But
Yeah.
yes, it can have good effect if it's under control. Okay, and yeah, we know that the negative effect. So, of course, the first one, eyesight. The first one, I think, yeah,
Yes.
staring just for a long time, looking at for a long time to looking at the screen and monitor. So, of course, so the first one, badly affect children. Yeah,
Yes.
I do agree. Addictive. I do agree.
Tim.
Yeah, health problems. So all of them. So that's really interesting. We live in the world and we are aware of negative consequences of everything. But we do. The point is here. In the past, people didn't have any idea about the consequences of what they did. But now we
Yes.
know, and we do. Yeah,
Yes.
strange word, really strange. Well, and just this because we discussed about the benefits of playing video games and we discussed all these questions. So it's your time. If you have any questions, you can ask me now.
No, I don't. I don't have any questions.
Okay, very good. So have a great weekend. Just enjoy your time and see you at the next session.
Yeah. I wish you have a great weekend too, and see you
Thank
next time.
you. Thank you. Of course. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.